Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger, so I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Welcome to the Dulce Candy podcast, your go-to destination for self-love, high vibe, living, and personal development. I am Dulce Candy, your host, war veteran, published author, meditation teacher, and content creator, here to guide you on a journey of transformation and growth. Through enlightening conversations, practical strategies, and inspiring stories, we'll delve into mindfulness, spirituality, and the art of living a high vibe life. Each week, we'll explore the tools to manifest love, abundance, and positivity in all aspects of life. So sit back, tune in, and get ready to elevate your soul as we embark on this beautiful and transformative journey together. Welcome to the Dulce Candy podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of the Dulce Candy podcast. I am so happy to be here, video format. If you're listening on Apple or just Spotify, you can actually check out the video on Spotify. Or you can go to my YouTube channel and check out the visual of today's video. So I am so excited to be back. I want to give a big shout out to Rode Mic, or just the company Rode that creates all of these really cool pieces of technology for creators. They sent over like a whole setup of mics and the Rodecaster Duo and so many things, but I just wanted to give them a shout out because they really motivated me to get back into the game of podcasting. I had taken a little bit of a break because I've been hosting a lot more in-person events. And so I wanted to, I was kind of like spreading myself too thin. So I am back with the podcast and I'm really looking forward to new conversations that we're going to be having together and all the new guests that I have lined up. So today's video topic is all about my journey on antidepressants, specifically the fact that I've been on them for a year and 4 months now. I made a video when I first got on them. I will link it in the show notes and in the description bar where I talked all about why I decided to get on antidepressant medication after many decades of having to deal with depression. Not necessarily anxiety, but just depressed. So I know some people asked me some really great questions on Instagram about why I decided to get on them, but I feel like that first video really explains why I decided to get on antidepressants. Another thing that I wanted to mention before we jump right into today's video is that we have our Costa Rica retreat coming up in about 120 days in October of this year. I am so looking forward to it. We are going to be like in the middle of the mountains and we're going to be, of course, it's a spiritual retreat and I'm really looking forward to it. And we also had another trip planned out for Oaxaca, Mexico. However, I feel like that trip didn't really get the community, you guys, too excited about it. So we ended up canceling the trip to Mexico, but we are planning a new retreat to either Costa Rica again, but this time in the coast. So we'll be next to the beach, or Bali in Indonesia. So I'm really looking forward to it because those are really great places that we can have more time for meditation and yoga and cacao ceremonies and sound baths and really get immersed into the culture of Bali and also Costa Rica. So if you would love to support our podcast, you can rate it and leave a review on Apple Podcast. And if you do, you can send a screenshot of your review to the email that I will be listing down below in the description and show notes. And I will be sending you a free 21-day self-care, self-love workbook/journal digital download for free for all of you guys for taking the time to write a review, which is the best way for the podcast to continue to grow and reach a wider audience. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I have been on antidepressants now 1 year and 4 months. The first day that I took my first 10 milligram of Lexapro was in February 14. And I am no longer on Lexapro. I'm actually on oxalate, still 10 milligrams. And I wanted to answer some questions. So question number 1, how has your overall mental health and well-being changed since starting the medication? I have to say that I noticed a drastic difference in my overall quality of life literally within 10 minutes of taking the first medication. Drastic. I was having a really huge mental breakdown that day, a little over a year ago. And I decided to take the medication, and my doctor had told me that it was going to take about 2 weeks for the medication to really start building up in my system and for me to really start seeing any changes. But I took the medication, I went to sleep, and I woke up like a completely different person. And I explained all of that in the first video. So it is going to differ from person to person. I know some people were like, how can it start taking effect so quickly? My doctor said that it was going to take like 2 weeks, and you're saying that it literally happened within less than 24 hours. But we all react to the medication completely different. We're all bio individuals. And so not one, medication is going to work the same for any one of us. So we're all going to react differently, of course. My medication has really helped me with my depression, which I no longer have. I used to live in a perpetual state of depression for probably since I was 8 years old. I kind of lived my existence, and what became normal to me was just a depressed state of being. And so when that big dark cloud cleared from my path, the day that I took my medication, I started to change completely as a person because the emotions that were weighing me down and the attachment that I had to my inner mind started to disappear completely. And so I became more confident. I started taking action on my goals, and I started to think about all of the dreams that I had and crafting a plan on how to move forward, which when you're depressed, sometimes those things, even the smallest things like going to the grocery store or going to the park or just being around people, can become really heavy and daunting tasks that you end up just staying home and secluded from the world. And so the fact that I started to take a risk, or many risks actually, in my life and in my career, and putting myself out there and doing things that I have always wanted to do, even if I didn't feel prepared or even if I didn't feel confident that I can do them, I still took the risk and just leaped, right? Without thinking about what is going to happen next. And that made a big impact in my life because my career now started to move forward. I started to have a bigger vision about my life purpose. And it's not just the medication. This is also the time that I started to really deepen my love with the Lord. And I started to really deepen also my meditation practice, which has been a huge aid in my journey. And so I don't recognize who I am anymore as a person. I am a completely different person. I definitely love myself 1,000%. There's not one aspect of myself that I don't love, even the flaws and the defects and maybe a shortcoming or a character flaw. Like I love it all. And that wasn't the case for me. I used to be very critical about myself and about others also. And so, yeah, my whole life has changed for the better because I decided to seek help, take the medication, not care what people think about the fact that I'm on medication. And I started to just really take care of myself because I know no one else is going to do it. Have I noticed any long-term side effects after being on the medication for over a year? I guess the biggest side effect that I have dealt with and that I brought up to my psychiatrist just this past week was the way that I process the world. I used to be someone who used to process everything and lead her life through her emotions. And so every decision that I made, every relationship that I had wasn't so much from an analytical standpoint. It was always emotional. How did I feel? Right? So when something really drastic and horrible is happening in the world, the old me would have been an emotional wreck. I would have really carried the pain and the pain that others felt for a long time within me. And it would just interrupt everything that I was doing in my life. I couldn't separate both of them. And so the biggest change, and something that a lot of people say, is that they feel numb. But I brought that up to my psychiatrist, and it's not that you are numb. The way that I see it, for me at least, it's not that I'm numb to feelings, right? Because I don't really cry anymore. I only cry if like something hurts me, like if I hurt myself physically, or if I'm sad for like a personal death or something really bad like that, or like just really sad, then I'll cry. But I don't find myself releasing emotions through tears anymore, which was a concern because I used to cry about everything. But now that I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't cried in the longest time. Like, what's going on? But what's happening is that it's not that I'm numb. And maybe this applies to you also. It's not that we're numb. It's just that our brain is starting to process information in a different way. So now I process information as, okay, well, what is a priority, right? So if something terrible is happening in the world, the old me would have been crying and pleading with the Lord and just like really invested emotionally, like a wreck in whatever is happening that is not happening here in my own immediate world. Now my brain is able to process that information and have sympathy and empathy, even empathy for the situation, but it doesn't interrupt my functioning as an individual and a human in my day-to-day life, right? And so to me, that's a really big change because it just allows me to function as a healthy individual more, right? Still having empathy and sympathy, but just processing things in a healthier way from my perspective. I also feel like a really big thing that I love that has been happening is that I used to also, like in relationships, I used to be so invested in not making people like me, but just showing people that I really cared about them and that like I wanted to build a relationship, even if they didn't give me that type of feedback or that type of energy. And it used to really hurt my feelings. But now I find myself like really okay with like, if I go somewhere and there's people that I used to be like, so tell me about yourself, like what you've been up to. Let me listen to everything about your life. And then maybe like they would be on their phone or just like they won't even ask me anything about myself. And it used to bother me. Now I can go to places where those same people are there and there's no need for me or desire. And that's kind of like that numbness, for lack of a better word, that it's like, Dulce, it's almost like, I don't want to say I don't care, but it's almost like I don't care, right? So I know it kind of sounds bad because you want to be this compassionate being over everything. And it doesn't take compassion away. It's just that it's just a healthy way of living life, right? Another thing that I really realized is that tears and distress about what is happening in the world or to other people, I don't need to physically cry or, be distraught or be in my bed for several days just thinking about that situation in order for me to justify that I'm a good person and that I care about what's happening in the world. And so that was a really big shift in my awareness because for the longest time, my tears and my just this feeling of hopelessness was like my way of showing myself that I was a good person. And I don't agree with that anymore. How has the medication impacted your daily life and routine? Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm able to just get up out of my bed. I am motivated. I am driven. I am goal orientated. I'm focused. I'm determined. I also don't have any attachment to things. So, I used to be so consumed with like numbers on social media and my career and where it's going. And then as a content creator, also if like I put a piece of myself out there through a video or any other, social media platform, I was always so attached to the outcome of that, right? Now, this, I don't necessarily think it's about the medication because I'm going to just tie another question that someone had because I'm a meditation and yoga teacher. And someone asked me a really great question. And she was like, Dulce, how does, medication and you being a meditation and yoga teacher, how do those two go hand in hand? I would think that if you're a meditation teacher, you wouldn't have any mental disturbances, right? And those two things are separate. I feel like there's many things that we have to do to help ourselves, and we can't just put one thing as like the ultimate thing that is going to, take away all of our emotional and mental distress. For me, medication has allowed me to process the world, my feelings, my emotions in a healthy way. My medication has brought balance between my analytical and my emotional brain. Right brain, left brain, kind of fuse them together. That's how I best see it. And that to me has been very helpful in my life. Now, meditation, the role of meditation is to teach you how to detach yourself from your thoughts. And that's where meditation is so powerful against depression because when you're depressed, you tend to associate yourself so deeply with every single thought that you're having. And when you're having end of life thoughts, right, it's because you are saying, hey, my brain is saying that I should drive off this cliff. I should listen. This is the right answer. And so meditation teaches you that's just your brain talking. That has nothing to do with you. It's just the way the brain works. The brain is always processing information and it's always thinking. You cannot stop your brain from thinking. But what meditation does is that it allows you to come to the awareness that there's something deeper inside of you that is observing and watching everything play out. So you begin to see yourself thinking. You detach yourself from your body and from your mind, and that is very powerful when it comes to depression. And so I use meditation to continue the journey of detaching because we always want to grab on to what we're feeling and what is happening and what we're thinking in our brain. Another really big thing that has helped me is my diet. Over this past year, I learned that depression is a symptom of something else. So normally if you are dealing with depression or anxiety, those are just symptoms that something deeper is going on within you. And so I started to, like me, I love learning. I decided to become a health coach. And it's a 1-year program. And I've been learning a lot about how to take better care of myself as an individual. And I learned that depression is inflammation in the brain. So I started to see, okay, well, what foods are causing inflammation within my body and my brain? What is triggering anxiety, coffee is such a big one, right? And so I changed my diet. I work out almost every single day. I go on walks. I get a lot of time outdoors. I socialize with my friends, with my family, and I take action on any dream that I have. And most importantly, I'm always on a journey. Like the number one priority in my life is finding God. And this is just me sharing a little bit about my personal self. I'm definitely in a stage of my life where I don't like to share too much about my own spiritual path, because there's still some trauma that I have to unpack in regards to church there. But my spirituality is a really big factor. As far as lifestyle and coping strategies, I just have to reiterate the importance of being selfish with taking care of yourself, because we can't think that just taking a pill is going to solve all of our problems. We have to take ownership of what we're experiencing in our life. So changing our diet, eating foods that are going to give us vitality and energy, that are going to make our hair shiny and beautiful, make our eyes bright and white, our skin nice and clear, drinking our water so we're hydrated and our internal system is being flushed out of toxins and our blood is pumping and moving. Incorporating workouts so you can release those feel-good chemicals on a daily basis and get stronger physically and mentally. Lifting weights, of course, is really going to help you with that. Getting some fresh air every single day, making it a priority, not like, oh, if I have time. These are things we have to make a priority. Getting some fresh air and vitamin D through the sun rays every single day is really going to help our mood. And those are like the basic qualities. And of course, time for spirituality. If you're a spiritual or religious person, making your relationship with the Lord, the Creator, a number one priority in your life is something that has helped me out tremendously. And those are all things that just help with my medication. And this is why I feel like I've never been healthier. Now, I do want to say that it's not like I haven't had my setbacks and like life is peaches and cream, because it's not. But there is this sense of magic and awe in my everyday existence. And I love it, and I created that with my family and my home, my temple, not having clutter, having a clean house. All of those things I took initiative to change because there's a certain lifestyle that I aspire to live in right now. And it's all about peace. I don't have any toxic relationships and I don't tolerate any toxic relationships. I also forgave everybody who might have done something wrong to me, or maybe I took things too personally. Of course, things like that pop up here and there, but not holding on to resentment or things that happened to me in the past has been also something that has helped my mental health tremendously. So when I first started the medication, one of the major side effects that I had was a lack of a sex drive. And so I told my doctor and he switched me from Lexapro to Oxalate, and that fixed everything. The other side effect that a lot of people worry about is weight gain. I did not experience weight gain because I knew that if I gained weight, I would not feel like myself. And so to counteract that, I just really focused on weight training. Weight training continues to burn fat up to 2 to 3 days after you're done lifting weights. So it is one of the best ways for you to maintain your weight, or if you want to, burn some fat that you might have, a little bit excess fat in the body that is unhealthy, or you just want to lean up. Weight training is the way to go. So I just continue weight training. It's just a part of what I do when I wake up. It's a habit that I've built over the past 4 years. And so I have not experienced any weight gain at all. And my sex drive, like I said, is back to normal after really quick. Actually, it didn't take long. But I think it's important to have a really great support system when it comes to this. First of all, you don't have to be telling everybody that you're on medication because there's still a lot of stigma behind it. And people, unfortunately still judge people in that regard. So just, open up with people that you really trust and your inner circle. And if not, just keep it private. But having a support system is really important because sometimes you might decide to get off of it. This is what happened to me. My husband has been the biggest supporter of my whole entire journey. And moving on to the next topic, which is getting off of it. I tried getting off of it about 3 times throughout the past a little over a year. And I wouldn't say relapse. That's not the correct word when it comes to this because it's not an addiction. But I definitely did have withdrawal symptoms after a week. Just recently, actually, I went on a little vacation trip to Palm Springs, and I decided because I had been feeling so good that I was going to get off of them because medication is also there to help you bring balance into your life. And once you have that balance, you can consider getting off the medication. But I decided to get off of it because I was already feeling great. I was feeling balanced and everything. And then a week later, I started to experience withdrawal symptoms, which was I was crying a lot for no reason. And I was also very anxious and very moody. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to get back on it. I talked to my doctor and I decided to get back on it. Also, I ended up stopping cold turkey and, some sources recommend that you taper off, even though my doctor specifically told me you can just quit it. Like you can just stop right now if that's what you want. And there is no shame in going through the journey and getting off of them and then getting back on them if that's what you feel like you need, right? We don't have to prove to everyone or anyone in general. You literally don't have to prove to anyone that that your mental health is what you think it should be. This is a very personal journey, and if you need it, be on them and be proud of it and know that it's just kind of like taking a vitamin. That's literally how I see it. When I wake up in the morning, I take my vitamins. And then when I go to sleep at night, I take my medication. And I have beautiful, healthy, peaceful, productive days every single day for the past year. I have not experienced this kind of life in my whole entire existence. And wonderful things have happened to me throughout my whole life. It's just that when you're depressed, you're not able to feel that, So for me to be in a place where I'm just like blissfully happy, peaceful, and just looking at my dreams and my ambitions and being like, what do I want to do? Oh, let's host a cacao circle. There's a little voice that's going to come and say, no, you're not ready. You're not prepared. But then because of the medication and everything else that I do to support myself, I'm like, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. I'm not afraid. I'm going to show up here. I'm confident. You know what I mean? Like it's just so many things that have changed in my life the moment that I decided to take my medication. And again, it's not just the medication itself, but it's a combination of my meditation, my yoga, my spiritual practices, my healthy eating, my working out, my getting vitamin D, fresh air, walking, smelling the flowers, having fun dates with my friends, building relationships, and having relationships that are meaningful and God-centered for me are so important. I don't have time for drama or chaos or I'm not that girl. We went to a party this past weekend and they were playing like banda music and it was so loud and other type of music, but it was like loud. And I felt very uncomfortable in that environment. I'm like, oh my God, this is like stimulating my senses to the fullest. And so I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being in places where the energy is like, just so like, you know what I mean? Like all I do and strive to cultivate every single day is peace, happiness, love. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibes that I give out and that I cultivate here at home. And I think that is all, guys. Let me see if I have any more questions. I know this topic, I can go on forever and ever, but there's so many people that still find me through my YouTube video that I posted the first time. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly answer a few questions from Instagram to just kind of wrap it up. How do you feel compared to last year Again, I feel like night and day, a completely different person. The old me was sheltered, was a hermit, was afraid to take action, was intimidated, lacked some self-love or a lot of self-love and self-confidence and self-esteem. And through the course of a year, because I didn't have that dark cloud of depression hanging over me, it's like, whoa, I unearthed my own light. I feel completely different. What is the main reason you opted for antidepressants? I was just tired of living in a constant chronic state of depression. I was just like, this can't be normal. I can't live my life like this anymore. I'm going to give this a try. And I did. And I'm so grateful that I did. How long did it take for you to see the positive effects while on medication? Like I said, almost instantly I saw them. I really do feel like I went to sleep one way and woke up a whole different way. I was smiling all the time and everything. I was a little bit of like a happiness high, which that tapered off. But now I just feel very neutral, and I experience happiness when I need to be happy and sadness when I need to be sad, for sure. So I feel like I react appropriate to what I'm experiencing. How did you know it was the right time to get off your medication? Now, this one is something that I'm still struggling with, or not struggling. I'm not struggling with anything. This is the one that I am still processing because I tried getting off of them, like I said, and I was like, I'm finally off of them. I feel so good after like 3 days. And I posted it on social media, which I shouldn't have done, because I ended up needing them like a few days later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was feeling so great a few days ago. And now I'm like, I need my medication. I need to be on this. So I decided to get back on them. And when I'm going to get off of them, I'm not sure. But it's a journey, and there's no deadline and there's no timeline. You just have to go at your own pace. Do I still feel depressed? Absolutely not. Do I have anxiety? Yeah, but that's because I drink coffee a lot. And that's something that I need to quit for sure. But I have not experienced depression. And I'm telling you, I used to be like depressed since age 8 all the way up to age a year ago, 35. Yeah, I think I'm 36 or 30. Yeah, I'm 36. I totally forgot my age, guys. I don't even know. After 35, you don't even know. But I used to be depressed. And so moments of happiness were just like, oh, that's random. I'm feeling happy right now. Oh, I'm feeling peaceful. That's random. That used to be back in the day. Nowadays, I don't get depressed at all. I don't deal with it. And last but not least, would you recommend antidepressants? I would not recommend anything to anybody, because I just don't want to be that person recommending anything to anyone. But I do want to say that they have helped me tremendously. And I already shared my journey, part of my journey. And I know there's so much more to share in this regard. But you just got to do what's best for you. And know that, yes, there is a negative stigma on mental health and especially medication. But
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Pepsid Complete knows that food is one of the best parts of game day. That is, until heartburn strikes. Thankfully, just one chewable tablet of Pepsid Complete provides dual-action heartburn relief with an antacid that starts working instantly and an acid reducer that lasts all day. So you can stay focused on that second helping of chili without worrying about heartburn. All day based on 8-hour symptom relief studies during the day. Use product only as directed.
I found all of that to be complete lies that keep people back from taking the next step in order for them to be healthy. So I much rather be on my medication than be struggling and fighting the depression every single day and being stuck in my bed or being in a state of hopelessness or not seeing a bright future and not taking initiative or taking action and living with a dark cloud over my head because people
have their own opinions about medication. You know what I mean? Like, we really can't be focused at all with what people think about the choices that we're making. And most importantly, we don't have to tell them, you know? The only reason that I'm sharing this is because I don't even care that people think what they want to think about medication. They have helped me out tremendously, and I'm really happy that I am on them. I'm not ashamed at all. And that's pretty much it. Anyways, that is pretty much it for today's episode. I know it was a long one, but the podcast format is a perfect place to discuss this topic in a long format. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely want to hear more from you guys in the comments section. If you share your experience, that is very helpful because there's so many people every single day looking for videos like this one to know the experience of the person because they are thinking about getting on that medication. And I think it's really important to be honest about what we're feeling. And so I also don't have any other way to know what you're thinking outside of you leaving a comment on YouTube or on Spotify. You can answer a question that I left down below, which is, what did you think about this episode? And also, don't forget to leave a review, send an email screenshot of your review so you can get a free download that I have made just for you. It's a workbook/journal, and it's one of my favorites. So I hope you're all having a blessed and beautiful day, and I can't wait to see you on our next episode.